right. Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. And today we are taking a close look at something that has honestly been generating a lot of buzz in
hmm
the global community. It's called the Work in Sweden program, and it's specifically aimed at attracting young professionals from Africa.
That's right.
So, we always like to start by looking at the big picture.
Yes.
And what we have here are some fascinating sources that paint this picture of Sweden as
Yeah.
almost like this utopia. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got these reports talking about Sweden consistently ranking at the top in quality of life,
hmm
innovation, sustainability,
Absolutely.
and even things like work-life balance.
Right.
And I have to say, it's
Mhm.
really kind of intriguing. So our mission today
Yes.
is to really dive into these sources and kind of unpack it all.
hmm
Is this Work in Sweden program really all it's cracked up to be?
Huh.
Could this be a real opportunity for someone listening right now who's maybe looking for a change,
Yeah.
a fresh start,
Absolutely.
maybe even a chance to really build a future for themselves?
Yeah, I think that's the key.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the key here. It's about, not just a job, but a whole life change. And that's what's so interesting about this program.
Okay, so where should we even begin? I mean, if we've got this wealth of information in front of us.
I think the best place to start would be with the practicalities. What does it actually take to pick up your life and move to Sweden?
Yeah, that's actually a great point. The Sweden.se website has this whole section dedicated to moving to Sweden and how things work.
Right.
And it lays out like this 10-step process
hmm
covering everything from visas
Yeah.
to finding housing,
Right.
healthcare, taxes even.
Yeah.
It's very thorough. But it can be a bit overwhelming. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it definitely can be, especially if you're, coming from a completely different system. But what's really interesting is that they have this one thing that kind of snuck out to me.
Okay.
It's called the person number, which is basically like
Oh, yeah. The personal identification number.
exactly. And it's like your key to everything in Sweden. You need it for everything. Opening a bank account,
I've heard that.
getting a doctor's appointment,
Right.
even picking up a package. It's like your Swedish social security number, but on steroids.
That's interesting. So you're saying that this number, this person number,
Mhm.
is like your golden ticket.
It really is. It's fascinating how they've integrated it into every aspect of life.
Wow. Okay, so we've tackled the kind of practical
Yeah.
nitty-gritty of moving. But let's shift gears a little bit and talk about
Yeah.
the actual benefits of
Yeah.
working in Sweden. Because that's really what this is all about, right?
Absolutely. I mean, why Sweden?
Yeah.
What makes it so special?
Right. And I think the sources we have here really shed some light on that. For example, Sweden consistently scores highly in the Nation Brands Index. Like, really high.
Oh, absolutely. Like top 5 consistently. And it's not just in one category either. It's across the board. Quality of life, governance, people, exports, culture, tourism, investment, immigration. They excel in almost every category.
It's pretty remarkable. And, then you've got the Global Innovation Index.
Yeah.
And Sweden is right up there at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean
Yeah.
for someone who might be thinking of moving there?
Well, it means that, Sweden is at the forefront of developing new technologies and ideas. And for someone looking to work there, that's a huge opportunity because it means that they'll be surrounded by like-minded individuals. They'll have access to cutting-edge research and resources. And there's a really high likelihood that they'll be able to contribute to some really groundbreaking work.
It's really exciting to think about. I mean,
Yeah.
you're potentially going to be surrounded by these innovators
Absolutely.
and, being part of this
Yeah.
environment where
Yeah.
things are constantly moving forward.
Yeah, it's a very dynamic environment.
And then there's the Economist's Glass Ceiling Index, which measures gender equality in the workplace. And guess what? Sweden is number 1.
That's right. Which is a testament to their commitment to creating a fair and equitable work environment. And for, anyone considering moving to Sweden, that means that they can expect to be treated with respect, regardless of their gender, and that they'll have equal opportunities to advance their careers.
It's inspiring to think about, a place where
Yeah.
those kinds of barriers are really being broken down.
Absolutely. It sets a standard for the rest of the world.
It does. Okay, so we've got innovation, equality, and then, of course, we can't forget the high quality of life that Sweden is so famous for. What does that actually translate to on a day-to-day basis?
Well, apart from stunning natural beauty, which we have to mention because Sweden is just gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. The pictures are breathtaking.
Yeah. It's really about, how society is structured to prioritize the well-being of its citizens. You have access to excellent public services like healthcare and education, which are largely funded through taxes,
Right.
but you also have things like affordable childcare,
Hmm.
generous parental leave
Yeah,
policies.
those really important for families.
They are, and a work culture that truly respects personal time.
Okay, so you're mentioning work culture, and I have to ask about this thing I've heard about called fika.
Ah, fika. Yes. This is a great example of how Swedish work culture is different. Fika is basically a coffee break.
Okay.
But it's more than that. It's a social institution. It's a time to take a break from work,
Hmm.
connect with colleagues,
Hmm.
enjoy some pastries.
I could get used to that.
Right. And it's really built into the workday. And I think it reflects the importance that Swedes place on work-life balance.
I mean, that's amazing. Your employer is actually encouraging you to
Yeah.
take these breaks,
Absolutely.
to socialize,
Yes.
to recharge.
Because they understand that a refreshed mind is more productive.
Wow. All right, so it's not all work and no play in Sweden.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic for a moment.
Mm.
You know, what about the job market itself? Is it super competitive?
It can be, especially in certain sectors. But, Sweden actively encourages international talent. They have specific initiatives for skilled workers. And the Work in Sweden program provides a lot of resources and guidance to help you navigate the job market. So it's not, impossible.
And what about language? I mean,
Mhm.
is English enough to get by?
Well, English is widely spoken in Sweden,
Okay,
so you can definitely get by.
good to know.
But learning Swedish will definitely boost your job prospects and your social integration. It shows that you're committed to really embracing Swedish life.
That makes sense. So there are definitely advantages to learning the language
Absolutely.
if you're serious about
Yeah,
making Sweden your new home.
right. It opens up more opportunities, both professionally and socially.
Okay. So far, Sweden sounds pretty idyllic,
Mhm.
but we have to address the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
It's a big move.
Yeah.
And there are always challenges when adapting to a new culture. I mean, one of our sources here even has a list called 20 things to know before moving to Sweden.
hmm
What are some of the things that people should be aware of?
Well, Sweden has a very strong emphasis on egalitarianism and direct communication. And this can take some getting used to for people who are coming from cultures that are more hierarchical or where indirect communication is the norm. You might encounter situations where, people are less formal than you're accustomed to,
Mhm.
or where honesty is valued over politeness. And this can sometimes be perceived as, bluntness or even rudeness.
It's interesting how work culture can reflect the values
Yeah.
of a society. So high taxes,
Hmm.
fika breaks,
Right.
direct communication.
Absolutely.
It's all connected.
It all paints a picture of Swedish society.
It does. Okay.
Hmm.
So taking all of this into consideration,
Yeah.
what would you say to someone who's listening and
Mhm.
thinking, maybe Sweden is for me?
I'd say that the Work in Sweden program isn't just about finding a job. It's a potential gateway to a different way of life. If you're looking for a society that values innovation, equality, and a healthy work-life balance, then Sweden is definitely worth considering.
It is a big decision.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But if Sweden is calling to you,
Mm.
I strongly encourage you to
Yeah.
check out Immigration Bridging Academy.
Mhm.
They're experts in helping people
Absolutely.
navigate these programs. They can help you figure out if this is the right path for you. You'll find the link to their website
Mhm.
in the description below.
Perfect.
Any final thoughts?
I'd leave you with this thought. What aspects of Swedish life, and you can find some hints in the Living in Sweden section on Sweden,
Yeah.
really resonate with you? What excites you? Because that's your compass. That's what's going to point you towards what a future in Sweden could hold.
That's a great point to end on.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.